have noticed that Richard Gere is back on the big screen. The actor is the star of Arbitrage, in which he plays multi-billionaire hedge fund manager. Now, we've mentioned hedge funds in several recent blogs, which is why we've taken a particular interest in this movie. So, what does arbitrage actually mean? Well, Investopedia describes it as the simultaneous purchase and sale of an asset in order to profit from a difference in the price. It is a trade that profits by exploiting price differences of identical or similar financial instruments on different markets or in different forms.
475.
In other words, it's all about taking advantage of inefficiencies in the market. And as our regular viewers know, markets are actually very efficient. So hedge funds often have just a split second to react, and when these trades go wrong, they can prove very costly. Now, of course, this film gives very much a Hollywood view of hedge funds. It's probably quite far removed from real life. But it has, once again, shone the spotlight on a world of hugely complex financial deals that before the credit crunch, most people had barely even heard of. Richard Gere himself has had some interesting things to say on the subject.
People believe, pension funds, municipal funds, all these things, they believe that there are experts who know how to make enormous amounts of money with your money.
Are you saying
but the reality is it's a shill game. They don't know any more than anybody else.
Right. So is it smoke and mirrors?
Exactly. They never stop long enough for us to really evaluate them or their lives. They don't stop long enough to evaluate. They're gamblers. But it's very boyish. It's about playing games.
Of course, hedge fund managers do occasionally fare very well, but as ever, it's very hard to distinguish between luck and skill. Even more difficult is identifying which hedge fund managers will outperform in the future. The fact is that most hedge funds haven't fully recovered from the disastrous performance they recorded in 2008. The HFRX, which is widely used to measure industry returns, is up by just 3% over the past year, compared with an 18% rise in the S&P 500 share index. And then there's the cost. Hedge funds have typically been charging a management fee of 2% and a performance fee of 20%. Many funds have recently reduced fees, but the cost of investing in a hedge fund remains substantially higher than for actively managed mutual funds, and on a completely different scale to the cost of passive funds. We're not here to give advice, just information that we feel investors ought to bear in mind. Some managers do outperform and are amply rewarded for doing so. The top 40 hedge fund managers earned a total of around £11 billion in 2012. But below that top echelon, there really is very little evidence that hedge funds do deliver sufficient value to justify anything like the charges they make. If you're considering investing in hedge funds, you should tread very carefully. And if you're going to watch Arbitrage, enjoy it, and remember, it's just a movie.